according to promoter Frank Warren, his fighter Hughie Fury will face unbeaten Mexican heavyweight contender Andy Ruiz on October 29th on the undercard of Tyson Fury's rematch with Vladimir Klitschko. Now, for those of you who don't know who Andy Ruiz is, he's, as I say, a Mexican heavyweight contender, unbeaten. He speaks very good English, so I think he may have grown up in the United States. He is a top-ranked fighter promoted by Bob Arum. He stands around 6'2", I believe. He's got a pretty short reach. He is overweight, very overweight, but don't let his looks deceive you, because even though he is fat and he does have slow feet, he certainly don't have slow hands. He's a quick-handed guy. He catches people by surprise. He's a good combination puncher. His basic style is pressure fighter, I think it's fair to say, but he's a pretty intelligent pressure fighter. He's not just a guy like a Brandon Rios who just comes forward and absorbs everything you're throwing at him and outworks you and eventually breaks you down. No, he's not really like that, Andy Ruiz. He's more a guy who comes forward and waits for you to make a mistake, then jumps on you and capitalizes. You know, he does like to counterpunch quite a lot on the front foot. So he's a pretty talented, I would say, fighter, Andy Ruiz, and quite intelligent in his offensive approach. His weaknesses are slow feet, poor defense. I've seen quite a number of fights where he's been getting caught with a lot of clean punches. Not much head movement there. But on the flip side of that, I've never seen Andy Ruiz remotely shaken by anything he's been hit with so far. Not that he's been in there with particularly monster punches, but he's been in there with some big guys. You know, he fought Joe Hanks, he fought Tor Hamer, he fought former WBO heavyweight champion Sergey Lykovic. He fought Rafael Zambano Love, and a number of these guys have caught him with flush, big shots. I remember the Tor Hamer fight for the first couple rounds. Andy Ruiz was getting lit up in that fight. But as big a shots as he was getting caught with, nothing seemed to even remotely shake him. So he may have a pretty damn good chin. And as poor as his defense is, he's going to need to have a good chin. So yeah, that's Andy Ruiz in a nutshell. Talented fighter. And his looks can be deceiving. Yeah, you're going to see this big fat guy waddle into the ring, but when he gets them hands moving, he's pretty damn dangerous. Some people say he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but I'm not sure about that. I think Andy Ruiz does carry decent power, and particularly with that kind of hand speed that he's got and the way that he counter punches on the front foot and tries to beat you to the punch, etc. He can catch guys by surprise with that type of speed and land on your chin. You know, he ain't going to tickle. He's going to hurt a lot of people, I'm telling you. So, as far as Hughie Fury, most of you know him, the younger cousin of Tyson Fury. Similar style to Tyson Fury, although he's shorter, not quite as long-armed as Tyson. Maybe all around not quite as talented, although that's debatable. Some people may agree or disagree with that. I personally think he's not quite as talented as Tyson Fury. And again, Hughie Fury's punching power has also been criticized. Some people don't think he's a particularly big puncher. I think he's got respectable power too. I just don't think he has the mentality of a big puncher. You know, I don't think he's obviously not a prolific puncher because he has been a distance a number of times now, Hughie Fury. But as I've said in previous videos, knockout ratio is not always an indication of how hard a guy hits punch for punch. Some guys have a high KO ratio, but they're not particularly massive punchers. They just wear opponents down. And then you've got other guys who can hit extremely hard, but perhaps they're very cautious, so they don't let their big shots go in certain fights, and therefore don't score the knockouts to reflect the type of punching power they have. Other guys just don't have very good hand-eye coordination. Other guys are just not very good fighters at all, and they're more worried about defending themselves and not getting knocked out themselves. They're too preoccupied with that to be throwing and landing their own KO shots. So, yeah, I think Hughie Fury's power is alright, it's decent. It's nothing to write home about, but again, just like with Andy Ruiz, you don't want to leave your chin hanging out against Hughie Fury and give him a free shot, because I think he'll still hurt most guys when he lets go with full power. So it's definitely a fight I would like to see, but we have to inject a word of caution, or I have to inject a word of caution here, because I think it's fair to say that over the past couple of years, Frank Warren's shows have had a bad habit of being cancelled and postponed on a fairly regular basis. And with the whole situation with UCAD and these drug tests involving Hughie Fury and Tyson Fury, will the October 29th show go ahead with Tyson Fury and Vladimir Klitschko topping the bill and Hughie Fury against Andy Ruiz on the undercard? I just don't know. I hope it does, though. If, let's say, Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko can't get their differences sorted out and their fight gets cancelled, will Frank Warren still put on Hughie Fury against Andy Ruiz as a standalone? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, people, drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know how you feel about this potential fight, I guess we can call it that for now, between Hughie Fury and Andy Ruiz. And by the way, this information, which I'll leave a link to in the description below, is coming directly from Frank Warren. He wrote an article, I believe it was in the Daily Star newspaper, so you can go check the article out either on the Daily Star's website or on boxingscene.com. Either way, I'll leave links below. So yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think of this fight. Who do you think wins? What do you think of Andy Ruiz as a contender? I know people want to slate him because of his physical condition, and that's understandable. You really want to see fighters behaving like athletes and, you know, taking their job very seriously and being professional. So when you see a guy like Andy Ruiz coming in as fat and sloppy as he looks, it's easy to criticize, but don't let that aspect of his game detract from the fact that this guy does have talent. Okay, this guy does have fast hands. This guy does have decent punching power. This guy is sneaky on the front foot and he sets up his attacks, you know, quite well. So yeah, anyway, people, let me know what you think. Maybe you totally disagree with what I've just said, and that's perfectly cool. So anyway, yeah, it's your boy Hatman. I'm out.